Hello learners, welcome once again to our next lesson. Today's lesson is on literature. As a reminder, put aside your learner material, look for a very good writing pad so we can zoom straight into our lesson. We'll look at literature, and under literature, we'll be discussing extensively about the plot structure. Are you ready? Call a friend to call a friend, sit together, and let's discuss the plot structure. Few questions for you before we start. Think about your favorite movie or a story. After reading or watching, what happened first? What was the most exciting part of the story? How did the story end? Do that with your friend and share your thoughts with them. Good. I believe they've told you what happened in the story they read, how exciting it was, and the part that excites them most. And they also told you how the story ended. Good start. Now, let's look at what the plot of a story is. When we talk about a plot of a story, we are talking about the sequence of events in a story. And with the sequence, we are talking about the order in which happenings or action take place from the beginning of the story to the end. Now, let me ask you, turn to your friend beside you. Why do we need plot? 1. Every story follows a path. Plot gives a story direction. And without a plot, a story is confusing. So you see, the plot is very important when stories comes to play. If we are talking about the plot of a story, we need to look at what makes a plot. So, let's look at the key elements of a plot. The first one we want to talk about is exposition. I believe you might have heard this word before. Yes, exposition of a plot. What is it? It is the beginning of the story, and it is at this stage that the story introduces the main characters, the setting, and the themes. I believe you remember our lesson on characters, settings, and themes of a story. So we say the first element of a plot is exposition. And what is it? It is the beginning of the story. It introduces the main character, the setting, and the themes. Example, in a film, this is when you meet the hero or the heroine for the first time. Did you remember your Anansi story? Yes. At the beginning of the story, the name Anansi was mentioned. Or you read the name Anansi. Yes, because he was the hero. The second element of a plot structure is the rising action. Have you ever heard of the rising action? Yes. When we talk about the rising action, we are talking about the series of events that develop the story, which starts the conflict, problems built up to create suspense. So in a story, when the hero faces one challenge after another, the rising action begins. The third element of a plot is the climax. What is the climax? The highest point of tension, the turning point of the story. So we say, what big decisions that changes everything in the story? Remember any story you have read or any film you have watched. Was there a point where a character took a decision that changed everything in the story? If you do, that stage is the climax of the story or the film you have watched. After the climax, what next? Turn to your friend, ask your friend, after the climax, what next? Remember the beginning questions you ask yourselves? After the climax comes the falling action. Yes, this is what happens after the climax. This is what happens after the decision that changes everything in the story or a film. How characters react to conflict. Do you remember Anansi and the wisdom pot? What happened after Anansi broke the wisdom pot? What decision did Anansi take? How did he react to the broken pot action? At this point, that is what we call the falling action. I believe you are following the lesson. The last element of a plot we want to look at is the resolution. What is the resolution? It is the final part of a plot where the story's conflict is resolved. It comes after the falling action and shows the outcome of the story's event. Remember, we said the plot is the series of events that happen in a story. Now, I want us to stay a bit longer on the resolution of a plot. You ask, why resolution? Yes, resolution because this is the stage of the story that provides closure to the story. Not only that, it shows what happened to the main characters after the climax. Then, it either presents a happy ending, a tragic ending, or an open ending, depending on the type of story. Then lastly, the resolution reveals lessons learned in the story, reveals the themes or the message the author wants to leave with the reader. So you see, The resolution of every story is very important. Good. We've been sitting and reading for too long. Now, let's do an activity below together. We are going to take our learner material, open to activity 16.1. We are going to click on a link. We'll watch a short film together. Do that with 2 of your friends. After that, we will discuss 3 elements of a plot you saw in the film. We will do that together in the next 5 minutes. Good. I believed you enjoyed that short film. Now, let's discuss the elements of plot you have identified in the film. Did you identify the rising action? Did you identify the climax? Or you identify the resolution? Discuss with your friend. Now, let's try and identify the elements of a plot in this short written story. This is a sample story for plot identification. Read with your friend and agree with your friend. Do you agree that the first part of the story, in a quiet town of Nyansakrom, a young girl called Abena lived with her grandmother? Do you agree that that is the exposition of the story? Do you also agree that one morning, Abena's grandmother discovered that her precious gold necklace was missing? Abena promised to find it. She asked neighbors if they had seen anything unusual, but no one knew. And this part of the story is the rising action. The question is, why is it the rising action? Discuss that with your friend. Then we move on. Later that evening, Abena noticed footprints leading from the kitchen to the garden. She followed the trail and discovered a small box hidden under a mango tree. She was frightened, but decided to open it. Inside was the missing necklace. At that moment, a neighbor's boy, Kweku, appeared and confessed that he had taken it. This part of the story is identified as the climax. As usual, why is it the climax? I believe you are having a good discussion with your friend. Let's continue. Abena was shocked and listened as Kweku explained. He only wanted to borrow it for a school play. She advised him that stealing was wrong, and they both returned the necklace to grandmother. What can you see? Yes, the following action. Do you agree that this part of the story is the following action? Let's continue. Grandmother forgave Kweku, but she reminded him to always ask before taking things. Abena felt proud for solving the mystery, and peace returned to the house. The resolution. Do you agree that this part of the story is the resolution? Discuss that with your friend. Good. Before we end today's lesson, let's recap what we have discussed together. We discussed the elements of plot, but what did we say plot is? We said it is the series of events that happened in a story. We discussed why plot is important in a story, and we said that without plot, stories get confusing. We looked at elements of plot. We talked about the exposition, we talked about the rising action, the climax, falling action, and the resolution. I believe you had a good discussion and you understood what a plot structure is. Revisit your learner material, section 16, and revise the lesson on a plot structure. But before we go, I have an assignment for you. Assignment 1. You state and explain the elements of a plot. After doing that, you create a story of your own using the structure of a plot that you have learned. I believe this assignment is going to be easy for you because you understood the lesson on the structure of a plot. Till we meet for our next lesson, keep reading and keep engaging yourself with your learner material. I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.